I'd like to welcome everyone to the 123rd meeting and the last meeting of the 7th Council of the Municipality of South Dundas on Tuesday, November 1st of 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Confirmation of agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, or amendments from Madam Clerk?
No, there are not, Mr. Mayor. Anything
from Council at this time?
Nope.
Okay. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Any member of Council? No. I am disclosing a pecuniary interest in item number 6A PE 2022-32, which is the Williamsburg Telecommunication Tower, as the land the tower is being built on, proposed tower is being built on, is owned by my son. So I will turn the meeting over to the Deputy Mayor at that time. Seeing no more, I'd like the adoption of minutes for the October 11th regular meeting and the October 19th special meeting, please.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Gardner, seconded by Councillor Mellon, that the minutes of the 131st and 132nd regular meeting of Council be adopted as circulated.
Is there any discussion on any of the minutes? Seeing none, all heard the motion. Those in favor? Opposed, if any, motion carries. No delegation and petitions tonight, so we'll go to action requests. Deputy Mayor.
All right.
You don't have to read the motion.
I don't have to read the motion? Okay, so I'll turn it over to Leslie.
Sure. Moved by Councillor Lewis, seconded by Deputy Mayor Gardner, that the Council considers the ExploreNet Communications Incorporated proposal nearing completion, and that the municipality approves the assessment of the process ExploreNet Communications has undertaken to date for the construction of a telecommunication tower in South Dundas to maintain and improve broadband internet services, and further direct staff to provide a formal letter of concurrence if no comments are received by end of day on November 14th, 2022.
Thank you, Clerk. And we have Stephanie Moran joining us today. Welcome, Stephanie.
Good evening, Council. The municipality has received another application from formerly known as ExploreNet, now Explore Communications, Inc., to construct a new telecommunication tower in the area of 6th and Williamsburg. They've identified this need to add additional infrastructure to the area to maintain the high quality and reliable and affordable broadband internet. So the provisions of the Ontario Building Code and the Planning Act and other municipal bylaws and regulations don't apply to these sorts of federal undertakings. We do have Sarah Duncan on the line as well from Forbes Brothers, who is the land acquisitions company. Provided there are any questions that you have that I can't answer as related to the establishment of a network. So in terms of what Explore Communications, how they provided public notification, they have fulfilled the relevant ISED, the default protocol, which required them to give 135 meters radius of the proposed location notice. They were given by regular mail on October 11th. And as well, it described the proposal and invited the public to provide any comments that they might have by no later than November 14th. It was published in the Mooresburg Leader and the Chesterfield Record on October 12th and 13th, and identifying that 30-day timeline. So essentially, it's a proposed 45-meter self-supported tower located in the area of County Road 31, being Bank Street, Garlow Road, and just south of the 6th. In terms of the location, I don't know if you have the map up in front of you. It is located in a prime agricultural area. However, this area is not currently farmed, and the proposed area doesn't further fragment any active farming land, which is important and in line with the official plan policies. In terms of support, both the provincial policy statements talks about encouraging long-term economic prosperity and supporting communication infrastructure. And that is sort of echoed in the official plan. and as well in the policy, the municipal policy for telecommunication towers. So I will give it back to you, and if you have any questions, more than happy to answer.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, you've all heard that. Can Councillor Wells, do you have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. No, we've been through this with a SploreNet there on the one in Morrisburg, one in Iroquois. Is straightforward, so I have no issue with this at all.
Councillor Mellon?
No, I mean, it's federally regulated. They're going to do it anyway. Drive on.
Nope, no questions.
Okay, I have no issues either. So you've all heard the motion. Those in favor? Carried.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, we'll move on to action request CS 2022-09, inaugural meeting date change.
Sure. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Lewis, that the Council of the Municipality of South Dundas suspend the rules, specifically Section 5.2 of the procedural bylaw number 2022-40, for the inaugural meeting of the newly elected council to November 15th, 2022.
Go ahead.
So by way of background, as you'll recall, earlier this year, this council adopted amendments to the procedural bylaw, most of which were housekeeping in nature, and one of the changes included an update to the inaugural meeting schedule, changing it from early December to a date more closely aligned to the term of office start date. So we updated Section 5.2 of the bylaw to indicate that the inaugural meeting would be held at 6 p.m. on the first Monday following the term of office start date. In discussions with the local clerks group, we've realized that all other municipalities are holding the inaugural meeting more closely aligned to the term of office start date to permit for the counties to have their inaugural meeting on Monday, November 21st at 9 a.m. And all newly elected representatives will need to have completed their oath of office prior to attending any meetings, more specifically the county meeting. So the recommendation is to suspend the rules to allow for the inaugural meeting to be held on Tuesday, November 15th at 6 o'clock p.m.
Okay, thank you. Is there any comments, questions, concerns on this from any member of council? Seeing none, all heard the motion. Those in favor, opposed if any, motion carries. Next one is bylaws. We have one bylaw tonight, 2022-125, drainage superintendent appointment.
Moved by Councillor Mellon, seconded by Councillor Wells, that bylaw number 2022-125, being a bylaw to appoint a drainage superintendent, be read and passed in open council, signed and sealed.
Shannon, you speaking to this? Leslie is, okay.
So by way of background, as you all are aware, the municipality is responsible for municipal drains as defined by the Drainage Act. In September, we were made aware that Justin Morin was leaving the position, and we successfully were able to recruit Mr. Chris St. Thomas, who is joining us this evening from South Stormont, to fill the position of Infrastructure Services Coordinator. So Chris joined us, the municipality on October 17th. He has previously completed the required training and qualifications to serve as our municipal drainage superintendent, and the appointment before you this evening repeals bylaw number 2022-40, which appointed Justin Morin to the position. I feel like it's important to note that although council is in a lame duck position, resulting in certain restricted acts, we are bringing this forward this evening because the hiring of the Infrastructure Services Coordinator does fall under the discretion of the CAO, and the drainage superintendent is not considered an officer of the municipality, so that we feel that it's under the purview of this council to proceed.
Okay. Any comments, questions, concerns from any member of council on this currently? Go ahead.
I met the individual a couple times, and actually he was back in God's country today looking at things over. So, I'm glad to see we got somebody in place.
Okay.
I just want to welcome. It's nice that we had Justin, he was doing a great job, and hopefully things continue, which I'm sure it will. So I just want to welcome you. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, Chris. Sad to say that I'm not going to be here to see you perform, but I think you'll most likely work out pretty good.
Well, I might as well. Congratulations, Chris.
Now, just to let you know, Councilor Mellon, I did not see him in God's country today, so obviously he's kind of He's gone a little too far west. He needs to come to the east side. And I think he's already been introduced to the east side in the last little while, from what I heard. So,
Pretty sick of us before long. Yeah.
oh well, we have some big furry rodents on our farm right now that need to be attended to. So, in fact, one's a 50-foot dam. It's impressive. A 50-foot dam. Yeah.
Good picture, send it.
I got it. It's on my phone. I'll send you. Anyway, before you aren't officially yet our drainage superintendent till we pass this, but before we pass this, I would like to thank Chris for coming aboard. I think what you bring to South Dundas, and I know that I've seen your CV from your prior attempt to get this job is good for us. You bring practical experience that South Dundas really likes, and we do feel a bit sorry that we dumped a big pile on you, and it's not quite steaming as much as it was when Justin got it, but it is a lot of work, and as much as Councillor Mellon and myself will not be here, we as agriculturists really respect the Drainage Act and all that it entails, and certainly the job that you're going to have to perform within it, and we hope that with that, your common sense and using the laws applied, that will bring our drainage infrastructure to where it needs to be. It's getting there, but it's still a long way to go, for sure. Anything further? All heard the motion. Those in favor? Opposed of any? Motion carries. It's all yours now, sir. Consent agenda, please.
Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Deputy Mayor Gardner, that all items listed under general consent section of the agenda be adopted as presented.
So tonight we have building statistics for September 2022. We continue to be busy. We have two letters from South Nation. One is concerning their seasonal closure of their parks, and one is a vacancy in the Raising South Nation Source Protection Committee. We've all heard the motion. Those in favor? Opposed of any? Motion carries. So instead of boards, committees, discussion items, it says final remarks. It is our last meeting as council, and I got a 4-page speech with 1,200 words in it. So I'll be able to sleep after I read this, because how many times I've rolled this baby through my head. So I put my head down on the pillow wishing I wrote it down. And I basically just put her together today. So we finally come to the end of the term of the 7th Council of the Municipality of South Dundas. We have been a busy council, inheriting a disaster from the 6th Council. But we put our heads down and got to work starting in January with a strategic plan for the next 4 years. Our priorities were asset management plans, economic growth, schools and medical clinic, community engagement and communications, governance and staff council relations. And I did use this document that we did fashion in that time to do so. A quick glance tells me that we did most of what we wanted to do. There is now an asset management plan to work with, even if it is severely underfunded. However, it does give the new council something to work with. We refurbished the water towers and have a minor expansion to our landfill, which will give the new council time to plan with a transfer station and new ways to deal with waste. We redid as many roads as we could, including Ontario Street, which showed us how expensive village streets are to refurbish. And we replaced the Taylor Road Bridge, which I know is not fully done yet. We did well in economic growth with the help of our economic development and tourism advisory committees. The industrial park is sold out. We came up with a fair way to finance the wastewater pump station in Dutch Meadows, and it is coming along nicely. We continued to work with our business during COVID lockdown and the aftermath. Tourism has sparkled, and we have many events now happening in South Dundas, and the biggest one of all are the Harmony concerts at the winery, bringing many new people to enjoy South Dundas. Ross Video is also expanding, meaning more jobs for Iroquois. We continue to work on the rural school file through the counties, and I believe it will continue due to the solid work done. We tried our best with the medical clinic gaining one doctor, however, we did lose the Iroquois site. It was challenging for our doctor recruitment committee to get anywhere considering the province was not a willing partner. We did our best on community engagement prior to COVID with our Coffee with Council series. I do believe they were appreciated and we learned from our residents. We did our best through COVID and after, but I expect the new council will carry that torch further. Communications have been our Achilles heel, causing the most complaints. I encourage staff to work with our new council and see if we can improve this area. I believe we govern South Dundas with class and integrity. We were as open as possible. I believe all members of council had a chance to have their say. We worked well with staff and it helped get things done. I would like to thank our current council for their hard work. We did our best to work together, but still allowing for some good discussions along the way. Archie, you had the most experience on council, and we will forgive you for helping with the mess of 2014-18. You are passionate when you need to be, but certainly brought humor to the table, which is a good thing at the right time. You made us think of the north of South Dundas and made sure the agriculture community was heard. We will miss your S&C reports for sure. Don, you have the biggest heart on council. You made sure we thought of all income classes in South Dundas. Your work during COVID at Value Mart showed the community you cared. We also relied on your insight from your work experience here in South Dundas to help us through our discussions. Lloyd, the common sense man on council. You preached it and lived it, and you always made sure we thought about the dollars spent and how to save a few. Your building experience helped council during budget and debates. As much as you did not vote on it, you can be proud of the campground building, the most expensive building project in our term. You also made us think of how decisions affected the rural areas as well. Kirsten, you were the person I most relied on to bounce ideas off of. We worked well as a team and we both used each other to make sure what we thought was a good plan. Your work on economic development and tourism advisory committees will be a legacy of your term on council. Your work experience along with your HR skill helped this council get through some tricky situations. I did not know you well before we got on council, but we certainly got to know each other, and I believe your belief in doing the right thing for South Dundas will also not be forgotten. Your communication skill in helping our residents was helpful to them. I want to thank you personally for all your help. Staff, I would like to thank all the staff for their hard work and dedication to South Dundas, and I emphasize all. It is not easy to work for your local municipality as everyone thinks that they are your boss and nobody ever works hard enough. But without you, nothing council or the residents want done will be done. I would like to thank Shannon for his hard work along with all the directors. Leslie, we were happy with Brenda when you came aboard, but you have taken her place extremely well, and I and council thank you for being here. The 8th Council. I would like to congratulate again Mayor-elect Jason Broad, Deputy Mayor-elect Mark St. Pierre, Councillors-elect Cole Vino, Tom Smith, and Danielle Ward. I believe this council has left South Dundas in a good place. This does not mean your term will be easy, as inflationary pressures on the upcoming budget, coming to terms with waste management, dealing with our crumbling infrastructure we did not get to, keeping economic development and tourism flourishing, and the biggest of all, dealing with the updated impact assessments when they come during your term. We do wish you well in your endeavors in the upcoming term. The residents of South Dundas, I'd like to thank those who placed their trust in me 4 years ago. Looking back, I did deserve to be in the quote-unquote penalty box after not listening as well as I should have during my first term. I tried my best to do so this term, and I hope most of you are happy with what I have done. I am proud to have served 3 terms on council, and especially proud of being your mayor for 2 of those. There was no other way of me to have met so many people in the past 16 years, and I am glad I had the opportunity to do so. If you ask me the biggest accomplishment in my time on council, it still is the South Dundas Municipal Center. It was the right project at the time and will keep an old building living for many years to come. South Dundas has a lot to offer, and I hope everyone keeps that in mind as you stay, work, and play here. I'm both happy and sad to leave council, but I do know timing in life is everything, and it is the right time for me to move on. I believe in saying that you should leave something in a better shape than when you found it, and I believe I have. Once again, thank you, and I wish all the best to all the residents of South Dundas in the future. With that, we'll turn it to the table and we'll go around. I know what.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I wrote it down,
yeah.
but I had to.
Well, that is good though, because you didn't make me cry for 4 years. You waited till the very last day, so good, and a happy cry. I thought about writing stuff down, and I too have been reflective this past week, and it's been a good reflection. I enjoyed the work that we did the past 4 years. When I review the promises I made 4 years ago, I pretty much did everything I said I was going to do. And I'm proud of that. I'm thankful for the fellows around the table, all of which I didn't know except for Donnie. So to work together and to have conversations about different perspectives, I think was very important. And I appreciate the respect you showed me whenever I'd raise my hand and I didn't see any eye rolls or anything like that when I tried to push a different perspective. One thing I've recognized is I'm more the protector than the politician. And I believe in next chapters. I'm excited for my next one. It will allow me to do things that I wasn't able to do in this seat. This seat sometimes can be great, but it can also be limiting, and it can also put you in spots that potentially you wouldn't normally go to. So I'm thrilled to return back to my life and put my family first. I appreciated the staff working with us. I know, as the mayor has said, it's not a tough gig. It's probably one of the reasons why I started in municipal politics or municipal employment early on in my career, and one of the reasons why I would never go back to it. So you guys all, with the challenges and stuff like that, be proud of the work that you do. Know that I absolutely appreciated it, even when we had to have the tough discussions. And a lot of the work that we do, people never see. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. So I thank the press, actually, for reporting what we did. And I thank the public that put their trust in me 4 years ago. I think it's fantastic. I wish the new council all the best. And I do thank the four of you again. It's been all right. Thank you.
Lloyd?
Well, I'm just going to echo basically what Stephen and Kirsten said. There's not much I can add to that. It's been definitely a journey, which I enjoyed. I learned a lot. The staff has been amazing. And you, Leslie, coming like Brenda she was great, but like you filled that spot greatly, and I want to thank you for that. And the rest of, like everyone, it's just been a pleasure working with you. And the new council coming in, you know what? I wish you all the best. And the idea, everyone's got to work together. Staff, council, and residents. And if everyone does that, the new council coming in, the whole municipality will move forward. And that's what we all want. So anyways, I just want to thank you. And I'm not much for speeches, so.
Don?
Well, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet, but 4 years ago when we were elected, I went home and I said to them, my wife, I said, we have got one council, a great council, and we're going to get things done, which over the 4 years we have proven. that we grabbed the bull by the horns and we never looked up. It's an honor and a pleasure to sit here with each and every one of you. And it's been a real journey for me. Staff, if it wasn't for you, this council wouldn't look good. Very simple. Staff can make council look good, staff can make council look bad. When we had a project on the go, you step forward and you lended a hand, and we got it done. Department heads, if it wasn't for you guys and your staff, there'd be nothing done outside. So I tip my hat to each and every one of you. You did an excellent job the 4 years that this council has been here. I have to say congratulations to the new council, and I hope them well for the next 4 years. And I also want to thank the press. Thank you, sir.
Last but not least, Archie.
Thank you, Mayor Byvells. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, 12 years. And what do I say? Where do I start? We're going to do a South Nation report, but we'll leave that one out of the equation tonight. First thing I want to do is, I think most important is every one of us at this table and everybody that came before us and everybody that's going to come after us, I think I want to thank our husbands, wives, partners, families. I don't think people realize that when you take this job on, it has an effect on your whole family. There's been several times when I've had to break the news that we can't go here or can't get that real cheap trip to Vegas because we got council and stuff like that. So with all due respect, I want to thank my wife, Denise, for putting up with me, and there's been times when I've come home from council meetings and not in the very best of mood sometimes, and toss and turn. So I think we all realize that our partners, our wives, our husbands, family are, they came on board with us. As far as staff, Shannon, Leslie, and the staff that are here and maybe will watch this later, it's been a treat. It's been we're fortunate enough, there's been a big change in 12 years from the old Williamsburg office when Shannon was the treasurer. And I remember first time I went in his office back at old Williamsburg, there was a baseball bat behind the door, and I hadn't met him. That was really, and I thought, ooh, better not mess with this dude. But, he loves baseball, I'm hoping that's what it was there for. But anyways, and we, all the staff, front office staff, there's been a huge turnover, over the years. We've added on, and all the, I guess if you will, I call them frontline workers out there that meet, and do so much. They make South Dundas what it is. I just want to thank them for everything over the 12 years, and it's been a treat and it's been a pleasure. For the new council coming in, I want to congratulate them. I hope them all the best, and I hope they will continue to grow and build on what we have started here. We've got a good base, we've got a good foundation. We've done a lot of stuff over the last 4 years, and I hope they will continue on with that. I hope them all the best. The only word of advice I'm going to give them is you'll find this out. I found it out, it took me probably 9 years to figure it out, but there's pros and cons, there's positive and negatives in this job. And I don't want anybody, and staff included, to get so overwhelmed with the negatives. And the negative will come from, they'll have a honeymoon period, and then, everybody will start whining and bitching about what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it. And, social media is a wonderful thing, but it's also pretty gutless to sit behind a computer and type up anything you want to type and send it off, Don't let them, don't become so overwhelmed with the negative, because the positives out there, and I've learned this over the 12 years, are all the people you get to meet, all the people you get to work with. This council, these people, Lloyd, I sort of basically knew. Kirsten, I didn't know at all. Dottie, I knew. And all the other previous members of council, I've served with 6 different councilors, 2 deputy mayors, and 2 mayors. But you get to know people, and you get to know all the people on the committees and all the ones that are out there volunteering. And I've said this before, All council does is the meat and potatoes of a community. It's the volunteers, whether it's the Lions, it's the community organizations, all of them really provide the quality of life that we have. And all they have to do is be able to recognize those positives and don't get overwhelmed by the negatives. And, you know, the negatives will be there, but allow yourself to see the positives that are out there and all the good people that are in there. This term of council, Donnie, it's been a pleasure. I've known you for quite a few years, and we had a good time, and it was a pleasure working with you. Lloyd, you know,
Always interesting.
always interesting, Lloyd. I'm telling you, it was, sometimes you sort of wondered at Lloyd. I didn't want to bring contractor Lloyd out. And once in a while, he peaked a little bit, you know, but he got his point across. He made such wonderful points, and, you know, it was a real asset to the municipality to have you here. Kirsten, I didn't know you before we sat on this term of council. I've never met a more passionate individual when it comes to the things you really believe in, the schools, the doctor recruitment, the economic development. You know, you ran with that. It was great. You brought us up to another level. And Mayor Bibles, we served 2 terms. You were my mayor for twice. And I remember 12 years ago back in Matilda Hall. And in our first election, you just got elected as mayor, and I got on first time. And I remember we were congratulating each other, and you said to me, he said, Archie, don't expect to change things overnight. And we didn't change things overnight, but we damn well changed things, and we made an improvement. And we've done well. And I've always looked up to you. You're the most thorough individual I've ever met. You know your stuff 6 ways from Sunday. I forget my own name if it isn't, you know, on my driver's license, but you can, you know, you've really added, you know, your 2 years, your 2 terms on mayor and your 1 term as a council. You've really, you really uplifted the municipality. And for that, I think I'm personally grateful, and I hope everybody is. Now, I know I'm not supposed to do this because you're not supposed to cross in front of the mayor, but the hell with you, you can fire me later. Mike, been a pleasure, sir. It's an honor. Donnie, it's a pleasure, sir. Kristen. And Mayor Bybels, it's always a pleasure, sir. Hey, with that, we're out.
We're not out yet, Councilor Mellon. You bring up a couple good points that I missed, and I do thank the press for reporting on us. They, you know, they had a field day with the last council. This one, they kind of skirted the lines, and you know, they came. It took them time, but in the end, they figured out that they had the right council at the right time, and I think that it's always about timing in life, as I said in my speech. It's, you know, life's about timing. You know, some of you only been here a year, and you know, you had 4 years, but that's a great experience. Some have been here a little longer. Life will go on, and you will figure out where you have to go in the end. The point about family is you know, something I did miss, and I will say it now, that if it wasn't for Debbie and Andrew on the farm, there's no way I could be here. There were times when we'd be in harvest or in going full bore at the farm with spring, and Andrew would look at me and say, county council Monday? Yeah. Or, you know, which was during the day, and then ours I'd be just rushing to get out and miss half a day, but because then when the seasons get long. Debbie at home had to endure me, but I think this term was much better than the last term for her. So, but she allowed me to run in 2018 on the premise it was 1 year, because she knew I had to do it. So, like it or not, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been here. And yes, I am kind of thorough, but I think this is a job, especially being mayor, you have to be thorough. And it's just, if you're not going to be thorough, it's going to land up into a disaster that you can't deal with. So I'm hoping anybody who sits in this chair is as thorough as I am. I know that county council is going to lose half an hour of its time block since I'm not there anymore. I was passionate on roads. Jeff knew that when I kept on bugging him. Like, I can't drive down a road without looking at it. It's become part of me, which is okay. I really enjoyed the science and the engineering behind what has to happen to make all our infrastructure work right. I'm looking forward to looking at the Taylor Road Bridge whenever we cut the ribbon on that, because that's something new in South Dundas, something new in our part of the world. And I was never afraid to challenge some of the thoughts that either came from counties or from here, but that's okay. You have to, if council just comes here and just goes rubber stamping, then I don't think that's right either. You know, it's a give and take on both sides. And I will say one other thing, that with this council, I've never had to use this, and that's a good thing. I only used it once my last term, and that was to a member of the audience. But that means we had decor, we did it right. I'm a firm believer in doing things right. I will finish with this. The ironies have happened now at home, and not at home, but at the farm with my son Andrew, because he has become the president of the Nation Valley Snowmobile Association. And he had 3 meetings last week, and I suspect he's going to have more meetings this week. So he's the meeting person. So I will have to live with that, but that's okay. He is formally my boss now, and that in itself was not an easy transition for a control freak like I can be. So anyway, with that, I'm going to toss it back to staff, and we'll start at the top and work our way around. You can say whatever you wish about the last 4 years.
Okay, perfect. I have not as long of a speech as you may like.
Well, that's okay. I can spit a lot of shit at a computer, and apparently I still can't get all of it, and I'm glad the rest of the council all filled in the holes.
So on behalf of staff and myself, I would like to thank all of you for your hard work over the last 4 years and in supporting staff. A lot has been accomplished over the last 4 years, which should demonstrate the ability of this council to get things done, and genuinely believe you are leaving South Dundas in a better place for the next council. Whether going through 2 years plus of COVID, the rehabilitation of the water towers, paving of the Morrisburg and Iroquois pathways, expansion of the Matilda landfill, Taylor Road Bridge, Morrisburg roundabout and streetscape. I could probably go on for the next hour of everything you accomplished. The focus was always what was best for the residents of South Dundas and the community. Your efforts should be recognized and commended. On behalf of staff, we would like to recognize our appreciation with a small token of thanks, which I hope will serve as a reminder of your dedication and contribution to South Dundas. Thank you, and all the best in your next chapter. And I'd like to present you with a token of our appreciation. Plastic is one of it.
Well, we'll just take the plastic off it.
We'll just take the plastic off.
Thank you very much.
No, we don't want to see them out in the streets though at all, right?
We're going to take them down. I'm going to change Garlow Road tomorrow.
That is cool.
No more Hulbert Road, right? Mellon Way.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Perfect. And I'll leave it open to staff, or if they want to say anything.
Yes, I will. Go around. Leslie?
Sure, I guess I just want to thank you. It feels like I've only been here for the last year of your term, but I want to thank you all for welcoming me to South Dundas with open arms, for being open, and just, I guess, for your work and continually, with your foot on the gas pedal and, really demonstrating to staff how, important it is to get things done in a timely fashion. So again, thank you for your service to the community and your trust in us.
Thank you. Jeff? You're here, you're going to get on the spot, so.
I would like to congratulate everybody, all 5 of you, on your successful term for the last 4 years. One thing I will say as far as myself, you held everybody accountable, even myself, when it came to fleet repairs. I was
You
very
didn't bring
upset.
out the numbers tonight, damn it.
I tried to, but he wouldn't let me put it on, CAO Garrity. But with, we can laugh and we can chuckle about it, but there is that accountability, and I do appreciate the fact that if there was questions to be asked, you asked me. I didn't hear it out in the public, what's going on with so-and-so or whatever, so I do appreciate that. So you can be commended for everything that has been done. We'll keep the ball rolling, but you implemented the brushing program, the sidewalk repair program. We've done over 9 kilometers of sidewalks within South Dundas between Morrisburg and Iroquois. So it's those little things that you forget, but I would like to commend everybody for the work that you did do over the last 5 years.
Thank you.
Dennis?
First of all, thank you for your 4 years of term. I would like to say for the Water and Wastewater Department, you left myself in a much better situation with the 2 towers being relined, and we relined the Carmen Road, which was a big project, and as well as the sewer relining in Iroquois. So I'd just like to thank you for your term and wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you. Lachlan? And tonight you are the acting treasurer. Keep that in mind as you sit down there. Don't let your head swell.
Well, thank you. I know my time in front of you was quite short. I'd like to thank you for asset management planning, taking it very seriously, and employing a young Mr. Nelson. He was a great, I don't want to say godsend because that's strong, but he was very valuable to you. So thank you for taking that whole matter seriously. I think my interest here, given that I left a full-time permanent job of the same thing, could be traced back to needing a kind of a change of sales, and thank you for providing me that. It's been great for me. I hope it's been okay for the 2 of you and everyone here. You held us to account with the campground and marina. I think we've advanced that well financially. And then I guess particularly because before being here, I'd only really encountered one of you directly, and that's Mayor Byvelds, who during an SDNG Composium stopped me after I did an exciting presentation on asset management plan.
Only a number guy can do that, right?
Yeah, that I believe was ranked the lowest in the customer service poll.
You were
but you came up and said, I like the way you thought about that, so it was a pleasure to serve under all of you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. No, I wouldn't be fair. He's never worked with us. I do thank him for being here. So, on behalf of this council, thank you to all of you, and and please extend our thanks to those who work for you, those who are not here. I do mean it. If it's great to have good directors, and they have to show things where things have to be done, but if the snow falls, it's always somebody else that's out there driving the plow and doing that and making sure all the things get done, the parks get looked after, the arena works, everything like that, all the buildings we have to take care of. So on behalf of council, thank you. Is there any other final words? Okay. Any notices of motion tonight? I don't think
There
so.
are
I'd be shocked if someone
Yeah.
put one of them on the table tonight. Ratification bylaw, please.
Moved by Councillor Lewis, seconded by Councillor Mellon, that bylaw number 2022-126, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution, be read and passed in open council, signed and sealed.
All heard the motion, those in favor? Opposed, if any, motion carries. Before I read our final adjournment motion, I do like to thank council for the past 4 years again. It's been a hell of a journey, and I will close with this. The mayor's job could be hell on earth or easy as heaven, and you guys have done the easy as heaven part, because if you get 4 councilors that don't agree with the mayor, or you can't work with a council, then this job gets really tough in a hurry. It doesn't matter. That's one thing that a lot of people forget, is that the mayor always has to stand behind what council decided, whether he liked it or she liked it or not, and that is a really challenging day at times. Most times we didn't have that, but every once in a while it comes, and then you just got to live with it, but that's okay. That's part of the role of the mayor. So I'd like to thank again all staff for their work, and thanks for being here tonight, and thanks Rebecca for being here and reporting on the final meeting of the 7th Council of the Municipality of South Dundas. And I'd like to thank those who tuned in tonight. I know that we did have kind of a lighthearted meeting tonight. However, it's our last meeting. I figured that if we broke any rules tonight, that it's going to be a challenge to try to deal with them in the next 2 weeks anyway. You have one final word, Councillor Wells, before I
got one more comment. I just want to let Rebecca know I'm on permanent vacation.
And with that, I will call the clerk to read the adjournment motion for me, please.
Moved by Councillor Mellon, seconded by Councillor Lewis, that council now adjourn to meet again at the call of the chair.
All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries.